What's going on today, YouTube? Veggie checking back in with you guys on a week 13, kind of different edition of this week's daily fantasy football specials. I am sick this week. I came down with the flu. I'm feeling a little better today. Today is Thursday, but I couldn't make it to the Hero Spell Studios today, so here I am delivering the picks um, on my phone from my house. So I appreciate you guys. If you could drop a like, drop a comment down in the comments. If you guys watch this video, if you like this video, appreciate if you interacted with it. Let's get right into the video. So like I said, I was sick this week and I stayed home from the Hero Spell Studio to record at my house. Still giving you the pitch though, week in and week out. Never miss a week. That's how we roll here. Quarterback position, Mike White. Yep, Mike White. You see the man on there? I'm not picking a big baller. I'm picking Mike White. Why? Because he's going up against the Minnesota Vikings defense, who is the worst defense in the league. No, this year. I wish I could turn my camera on so you could see my monitor. It says Minnesota Vikings across the top. My shirt says Minnesota Vikings on it. And my hat says Gophers, row the boat, Sky Imago Gophers. But yes, your Minnesota Vikings are the 32nd defense in the league right now. I believe that's overall defense. I'm not sure if it's just passing, but I believe it's definitely passing, but I'm not sure if it's overall defense. But they are pretty bad. Anyways, Mike White has shown over the past year or two that he can put up some points, put up some numbers. Mike White, let's see you do it. Got Garrett Wilson, and I got Tyler Conklin in there too, wide receiver 1 and tight end. Tyler Conklin, Garrett Wilson, Mike White. I got the Jets defense going off against the Vikings. Still going to lose though, because they're the Vikings. They always find a way to make it interesting, and you lose. This week is very interesting. I hope everybody takes into account that a lot of the running backs have a questionable tag next to their name. That's very important. So with that being said, this video cannot be 100% accurate because the running backs might be out Sunday. We don't know. We will find that out sooner than later. But nonetheless, I'm going with, is his name Jamichael? Yep, Jamichael Hasty. Jamichael Hasty and Dameon Pierce. One for the Jamichael Hasty for the Jacksonville Jaguars and Dameon Pierce for the Houston Texans. I was going to go with Deshaun Watson at my quarterback position. There's a lot of quarterbacks you could pick. You could pick Kirk Cousins. He's going to have a good day. You could pick Deshaun Watson. I don't know if Deshaun Watson's going to have a good day or not. I was going to pick the Texans defense going up against Deshaun Watson because it's a crazy story going on there. Guys, before I get ahead of myself, there's so many good games this Sunday. It's not even funny. There's so many good games. Vikings, Jets. Let's see. I believe it's the Raiders and the no, it's not the Raiders and the Chargers. Yeah, it is. It's the Raiders and the Chargers, the Chiefs and the Bengals, the 49ers and the Dolphins. Like, there's so many good games, guys. I want to pick a player from all the games, but you just can't, which is sad. Maybe if some players show up injured on the injury report, I'll be able to sub in some players. But until then, we're going with Jamichael Hasty and Dameon Pierce coming off a pretty bad week. Mr. Pierce, you need to step your game up, fantasy football-wise. I know sometimes the game, goes off script and you can't always make it happen. But if the game comes your way, let's see it happen. Dameon Pierce, Jamichael Hasty. Wide receiver 1, I already said Garrett Wilson. This, like I said, this lineup is probably subject to change due to injury. But until then, Garrett Wilson, T. Higgins. I couldn't skip a player from the honestly one of the biggest fantasy games of the week. I still might fit Travis Kelce into my lineup. Right now I don't have him, but I still might try to fit him in there because that game is going to go nuts. The Bengals and the Chiefs game is going to go nuts. The 49ers and the Dolphins game, at least on paper, is going to go nuts. But Sunday always tends to find a way to flip the script on us, no matter how good the matchup is. It turns out to be some shitter game. But we have T. Higgins, right? Jamar Chase has been out since week 7. He's still questionable. He's limited in practice. I don't know if Jamar Chase is going to... If he plays, my lineup may change. But if not, I like T. Higgins there. T. Higgins has been getting those numbers with Jamar Chase being out. And they can't lose this one. I mean, well, they can, but they don't want to lose this one because they know this is the team to beat in the AFC besides Bills. This is that team, man. And KC's got their number too. They beat them last year in the championship game, KC. beat the Bengals the Bengals beat KC to go to the Super Bowl last year. They lost. But they don't want to let that happen 2 years in a row. KC is supposed to be one of those teams you see in the Super Bowl, especially with Pat Mahomes, year in and year out. So this fantasy football matchup here. This is one of the games you don't want to have your eyes glued to the TV and be like, I want T. Higgins to get 1,000,000,000 points for me, 1,000 points for me. So we got T. Higgins in our lineup. With that being said, whoops, my computer monitor shut off. See, I gotta makeshift some stuff here while I'm at my house. As you can tell, I'm still kind of sick. Thank you guys for bearing with me and going with these picks. Appreciate you guys. So little recap, so I didn't lose nobody. Mike White, quarterback. JaMychal Hasty, Dameon Pierce, both going to have good days running the football. T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson. We're going to do the Garrett Wilson, or the Mike White, Garrett Wilson, and Tyler Conklin stack as of right now. Third wide receiver, I'll give it to you, Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk, and I'm going to show this to the fans just one time just so you can see all the players here. Every single, make sure it's in camera. Every single player here is in the green on the left side. There's no like, oh, they're going up a tough run defense. They're going up against a tough, passing defense. Every single one of these players is inside this green scheme, right? They're all green. Every single one of them's green. 30th, 26th, 30th, 32nd, 30th, 28th. Christian Kirk falls right in the middle of that category, going up against Detroit defense, who lets up the 30th most points. 2 fantasy football receivers. I like that. I like that game. That's a great game too. Jacksonville and Detroit, 2 teams that, on the win-loss column aren't very good, but they've won some games. Heck, Jacksonville just came off a big win against, I forget who it was, but that was a big game, big win for Jacksonville. I forgot who it was. So did Detroit. And, that's a sneaky good fantasy football game too. I like Christian Kirk being in there. Christian Kirk at wide receiver number 3. Tight end, Tyler Conklin. Revenge game going up against them Vikes. Mike White stack. I love it. I like Tyler Conklin in there right now. What I'm thinking about doing, if the starter for Jacksonville plays, if ETN plays, I'm going to take Hasty out. I'm going to put my flex is Austin Eckler. Sorry to spoil it for you. My flex is Austin Eckler. I'm going to put Eckler up at the top instead of Hasty. And I'm going to put Kelsey in the tight end spot because I got to pick a Chief. That game is going to go too crazy not to pick a Chief. I got to pick Kelsey. And then I think this is nuts, but I think I'm going to put Conklin at my flex spot. I do like Conklin getting a touchdown this week. If he gets more than that, that'd be great. But I do like him getting I think they're going to work him into the game plan, the game scheme, because it's against his former team who let him go. I like Tyler Conklin as a Viking. I think he's going to get some points in there. So we'll see what happens if the running back position proves to show that these players are injured and they can't play Sunday. Then we'll switch our lineup accordingly. But until then, Austin Eckler at our flex, Tyler Conklin at our tight end position. Defense, special teams, we got the Washington football team going up against the New York Giants. This is a home game, too, for the Giants. The Giants got something to prove, but so do the Commanders. Let's see you do it, Washington, Chase Young. Let's see what you got. Prove it for me. Prove it for me on Sunday. That's it, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed the sick version, the flu version of this week's DraftKings picks, man. I hope you all have a good day, better weekend, and stay safe, stay healthy. Unlike me, I didn't stay healthy. I tried to, but I got bit by the flu. Something, maybe it was just my time to get bit by the flu, but I'm feeling better today. So that's good. That means my immune system's working. Appreciate you guys. If you guys want to drop a comment or a heart for Hero Spells, drop a comment for me. Appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good day. Peace.